Think about the gentle warmth of sunlight just resting on your skin, or a tiny little ripple in a pond brushing against your toes. Now contrast that with a massive earthquake leveling an entire city, doing the physical work of thousands of wrecking balls. Or think of a highly focused medical laser that's literally hot enough to burn away a tumor. What's the fundamental difference between these two extremes?
Why do some waves shatter solid concrete while others barely move a single grain of sand? Well, by the end of this explainer, you're going to completely understand the core physics of wave energy. We'll break down the exact formula that governs it, and you'll see how to apply these rules to make sense of real-world phenomena. Everything from why magnifying glasses start fires to those strange acoustic dead spots in a concert hall.
Let's dive right into Section 1, the power of waves, how invisible forces do visible work. The foundational concept here is actually pretty simple, but absolutely crucial. All waves carry moving energy, and they prove this by physically performing work. That could be massive ocean breakers violently chewing up a rocky coastline, or incredibly loud sounds pulverizing microscopic nerve cells in your inner ear to cause permanent hearing loss.
Which brings us to Section 2, amplitude and energy, because the physical size of the wave absolutely matters when we're talking about its sheer physical power.
Just look at the visual difference here between a gentle ripple with a tiny physical displacement and a destructive wave with a massive one. In physics, a wave is basically defined as a displacement that's resisted by a restoring force, kind of like a heavy spring. The further you stretch that spring, the larger you displace the medium, the larger the restoring force required to snap it back into place. Massive ocean breakers churn up the shore simply because that massive vertical displacement requires and inherently carries a massive amount of raw physical energy.
Now, I hear this student question all the time. Wait a minute, why is energy proportional to the amplitude squared? It's a fantastic question. Why isn't it just directly proportional? Well, think back to your basic mechanics. Work equals force multiplied by distance. But here's the catch. The restoring force itself also depends on that distance. So you're literally multiplying distance by distance. And because of that, the amplitude gets factored in twice.
And that perfectly illustrates our golden rule. Energy is directly proportional to amplitude squared. This is a huge takeaway you absolutely need to remember. If you double the size, the amplitude of a wave, you don't just double the energy. 2 squared is 4. You are multiplying the energy by a factor of 4. A wave that's twice as tall is inherently 4 times as physically powerful.
Okay, let's step from pure energy into physical space in Section 3, calculating wave intensity. Because energy alone doesn't really tell the whole story, right? We need to know exactly how concentrated it is. And that brings us to the formal definition of intensity. I equals P divided by A. Intensity is simply the power carried by a wave, which is just energy flowing over time, divided by the area it covers. We measure this in standard units of watts per square meter. It's quite literally a measure of how tightly packed the wave's power is when it smacks into a two-dimensional surface.
Let's make this a bit more concrete, with a practical example in Section 4, the magnifying glass effect. Shrinking the area, spiking the danger. To give you a baseline feel for intensity, the average intensity of sunlight hitting the Earth's surface just outside your window right now is about 700 watts per square meter. It feels warm, it's pleasant, but it's certainly not going to instantly ignite your shirt on fire.
But let's walk through the logic here. Step 1. Sunlight has that set baseline of 700 watts per square meter. Step 2. You bring in a glass lens, which gathers that exact same constant amount of solar power, but focuses it down, shrinking the area, that A in the denominator of our formula, by, say, a factor of 200. Step 3. Because area is on the bottom of the fraction, dividing by a number 200 times smaller makes the final intensity absolutely skyrocket. Squeezing that same solar power into a 200 times smaller area spikes the intensity to 140,000 watts per square meter. And that is exactly why a simple piece of curved glass can easily start a blazing fire.
But hey, here's a quick question to test your intuition. What happens when waves spread out instead of shrinking? Think back to our earthquake example. Seismic waves violently originate at the epicenter and spread outward through the crust in this massive, ever-expanding sphere. As they travel, the area they cover increases geometrically. Since area is the denominator in our equation, a massively bigger area means the intensity radically drops. This is why earthquakes do significantly less damage the further away you get. The exact same total energy is just stretched way too thin to knock over a building.
which leads us to a truly mind-bending scenario in Section 5, constructive interference. This is where 1 + 1 somehow equals 4.
Imagine this setup. You've got two identical stereo speakers sitting in a room. Each speaker puts out a sound intensity of exactly 1.00 watt per square meter. Now, if these two sound waves travel through the air and meet perfectly in sync, what physicists call perfect constructive interference, what is the combined intensity? 1 watt per square meter plus 1 watt per square meter equals what? You'd naturally guess 2, right? But the shocking answer is actually 4.00 watts per square meter. This is a really crucial point because it perfectly illustrates our squared rule from earlier. When two identical waves perfectly combine, their physical amplitudes stack together, meaning the total combined amplitude doubles. And remember the golden rule? Intensity scales with amplitude squared. So mathematically doubling the amplitude forces the resulting intensity to shoot up by a factor of 4. Two speakers, each producing 1 unit of intensity, combine to hit you with 4 units of intensity.
Now, if you're paying close attention, your alarm bell should absolutely be ringing right now. You might be yelling at the screen. Doesn't this violate the conservation of energy? How on earth can two 1-watt sources magically create 4 watts of power out of thin air? The universe strictly forbids free energy.
Well, the mystery is solved right here. High-intensity spots shrink and zero-intensity dead zones magically appear. You see, the universe perfectly balances its energy ledger. That booming 4-watt intensity doesn't actually happen everywhere in the room. It only exists in very specific, highly concentrated little pockets. In exchange for those incredibly loud peaks, other spots in the room experience perfect destructive interference. The waves cancel each other out entirely, creating completely silent, zero-intensity dead zones. So the total overall energy in the room stays exactly the same. It's just been wildly redistributed into extreme peaks of 4 and valleys of 0.
All right, before we wrap up, let's look at Section 6, Final Takeaways for Mastering Wave Intensity. Let's rapidly recap our 3 core rules. First, energy scales with amplitude squared. Remember, doubling the wave size quadruples its punch. Second, intensity equals power divided by area. It's not just about the total amount of energy, it's about how tightly concentrated that energy is. And third, altering the physical area radically changes the effect. Focus the wave into a tiny spot and you get a laser burning through tissue or a magnifying glass sparking a fire. Spread it out over miles and a terrifying earthquake diffuses into a harmless rumble.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. If two incredibly loud sound waves can perfectly combine to create an absolute dead zone, a spot of pure zero intensity, right in the middle of a room, where exactly does the physical energy of that sound go in that precise location? Think about the bizarre physics of superposition, and we will explore that exact mystery